Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happiness Today YouTube channel. Some days back, the person of Shettima had actually threw a shady one against the person of Peter Obi, even Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, where he actually took time and said it's not all about wearing 2 pairs of shoes and one wristwatch and trying to glamorize poverty. He said quite a lot not very nasty statement. Instead of talking politics on what or campaigning on what his principal and himself will bring to Nigeria, will bring to the table that will change the narrative, he was busy, throwing personal that against the other presidential candidates, including Peter Obi. Of course, Labour Party have had enough. In fact, they've had it up to their neck and they've decided that if he doesn't shut his mouth, they are ready for showdown with him. I guess at this rate, INEC should be looking into this matter swiftly before it escalates or degenerates to something else. Well, before we go into the news report, kindly subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you see the notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Well, according to the news, the Labour Party LP Presidential Campaign Council has won the vice presidential candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC, Senator Kashim Shettima, to watch his tongue or it will revisit his past and expose records to Nigeria. Please expose, please. Nigerians don't know much. The opposition party said the warning became necessary following Shettima's increasing verbal attacks on his presidential candidate, Peter Obi. A statement issued on Sunday by the Director General of the LP Presidential Campaign, that's Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, Donyo Kunkwe, accused the APC vice presidential candidate of flagrant disregard to clauses and principles of the peace accord signed by candidates in the coming elections, which is said insists that candidates will avoid the use of abusive and offensive language throughout the campaigns. The statement reads in part, and I quote, "We have watched with dismay and disgust the various unguarded insults and disparaging remarks passed on our presidential candidate and other candidates of the party by the vice presidential candidate of the APC, Kashim Shettima. Whereas our political parties are all signatories to the National Peace Accord, supervised by General Abdulsalami Abubakar, National Peace Committee Chairman, which represents the bona fide code of conduct for all corporate and individual direct participants in the current electoral process. In the Peace Accord signed in Abuja, it was expressly stated that candidates will avoid the use of abusive and offensive language throughout the campaigns. It is therefore very unfortunate and regretful, but not exactly surprising, that in flagrant disregard for the clauses and principles of this accord, the APC vice presidential candidate Shettima, in particular, has continued repeatedly to play the court jester by persistently, irresponsibly, and recklessly making all sorts of derogatory remarks and comments totally at variance with good manners and decorum. We are in no doubt whatsoever that while he has consistently abused the opportunity of public audience by making these snide remarks about His Excellency Peter Obi and other candidates, he cannot in the least and in any way ever measure up to these his political superiors in integrity, character, and status, not to mention vision, policies, and national acceptance. Insisting that Labour Party was committed to keeping the campaign engagement and rhetoric civil and issue-based, the statement called on the APC to rein in and restrain its vice presidential candidate from further unquote and unguarded language against our candidate and all other candidates in this race. It added that though the party has resisted joining issues with the former Borno State governor, it, however, has the capacity to publicly take on him, especially as he personally carries a huge burden of a sordid and reprehensive past. It can be understood that he is still basking in the euphoria of having been nominated to the exalted position of the vice presidential candidate of a party, which ordinarily could never have occurred in an environment of strict adherence to best practices and high moral and character values, where due attention is paid to pedigree, personal records, and known antecedents. For a fact, in other civilized climes, a presidential election is a serious process of responding to the people and should not become a poturous arena for the display of bad manners and verbal hooliganism. We should like to remind Shettima that those who make their living in glass houses should not have stone throwing as their hobby. Okoko mentioned, my brother, you hit the parable you said is enough. Those who live in glass house should not throw stones. I just hope that Alhaji Shettima will get that. Even before this particular campaign, I could still remember he's the only one that had the mind to call our amiable vice president popcorn seller. My God. He said what fits him should be ice cream seller, popcorn. He even mentioned Boroquit. Until today, I don't know what is Boroquit. Maybe I didn't pronounce it well, but that's what I heard. Maybe is it Boroquit or Boropit? Please, whoever knows what Boroquit is, maybe I didn't pronounce it, but that's what I heard. Should tell us the meaning. He's actually in his habit of doing that. Yes, he called Atiku Abubakar a perennial, a serial Dubai traveler who he will retire. Opportunity he has to sell his candidacy, he actually uses it to throw dabs, throw insults at other candidates, and just wondering what then is their manifesto and how do they intend to fulfill it. We are tired of this whole idea. Initially before now they used to take agbado. By now you see Oshomole eating roasted corn on the street. You see someone like Rogers Okorocha with the bike men and taxi people. Then you see the rest of them taking Bola. Some will be at Amala joint frying, eating with the poor in a bukateria, while others will be frying gari in the name of election period. After election period, we won't see them anymore. But ever since Peter Obi came into the picture, they changed the narrative. He has upped the game. We don't get to see politicians frying akara or eating with the poor or mingling with the downtrodden. Now we see them now. Some of them even have what to offer. Let's just feel the pause on Nigeria 102 and probably wrap this up. This one here says, this guy is desperate. He thinks the only way is to be aggressive, and that's actually what I'm sensing. Have opportunity to talk, you just become aggressive, thinking because of Peter's gentleman nature, his humility. Don't pass it as a weakness. It's actually strength. It's not like he does not know how to talk, but just that he's a gentleman. He will not be seen, exchanging words. For what? He knows what is in there for. If Nigerians don't want him, but too bad. Our loss, not his loss, is our loss. If Peter Obi doesn't get in, he has nothing really to lose. This one here say, well, when placed side by side with Mr. Peter Obi, it's obvious Shettima certainly lose the comic character he represents. It's only in Nigeria, perhaps, that not you can have such a fellow as a governor, talk less of a vice presidential candidate. Quite comical, I must say. Well, a lot of Nigerians are really talking here. I guess that's to go wrap it up. Let's put in our comment section. What's the take on the fact that LP have decided, as Labour Party have said, look, this got to stop. If you don't, we'll begin to unleash and release your very terrible past. The question is, what's its past? Let's put in our comment section.